can introduce it. It's fine.
Hey everybody, this is Kareem Mays with the Entrepreneur
Chris
Power
Peters.
Hour and Chris Peters, my co-host. We have Francis Richardson, Carl Davis, Ron Lester, Bill Maybauer, and Darius B. Sorry, Darius, I don't know your last name yet.
Bergen.
Darius Bergen. All right, tonight we're going to talk about different social media things you can do to improve your career as an entrepreneur and to accelerate your presence online, which is important. We do personal development, but we also want to integrate some training. So who would like to start?
I guess I'll start us off tonight. I've been using Facebook now for about 7 years, and I noticed that when I'm going into different groups, depending on what the group is about, I'm noticing how people are spamming the crap out of groups. They're spamming, they're pasting links, they're advertising their opportunity, and they're not being trained the right way. Now, from my experiences and learning what I've learned when I was in mentoring for free and some other stuff that I did, I find that that's definitely not the right way to go, and I'm very happy to say that I don't do that. I don't spam. I get to know people. If I see somebody that's an entrepreneur, for instance, like on Twitter, I'll send them a message and I'll say, hey, how's it going? My name's Chris Peters. Me and my friend Kareem Mays do a show called the Entrepreneur Power Hour. Would you like to be part of our mastermind? And that's it. And I've gotten nothing but positive responses from that. They're like, wow, really? I can come be on your show and talk about different things I'm doing? And I said, yeah, I get your ideas brainstormed. So what it's really about for me and what it's been about for me is connecting people and being connected with like-minded people. And I find that that's very, very helpful in the whole entrepreneurial field, and that we need more people that understand that network marketing is about relationship building, it's about teamwork, it's about camaraderie, it's about compassion, it's about being there for your fellow friends and your brothers and your sisters, and just making sure that everybody's on the same page. And that's the whole point of a mastermind. Somebody want to piggyback off that? Go ahead.
I'll add on to that one. You're talking from the Facebook side. I'll go from the LinkedIn side. One of the things that I discovered is one thing you don't want to do is approach somebody and just open up, tell them what you're doing right away. Now, especially on LinkedIn, because you want to show more interest in who they are, what their business is. Let them ask you what you do, and at that point, then you can kind of really go into what you can offer them. And that really goes for Facebook as well, because if you're going out there and you're just saying, well, I'm with so and so, I'm doing so and so, then you're not showing any interest in them. Therefore, they're not going to be really receptive to what you're saying. They're going to think, oh, you're just trying to sell me. I've seen this all before. And if you look at it and think of it in terms of let's just think of it in terms of TV. What do most people do with commercials? They go, that's it. So when you're going and approaching somebody, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, you're approaching them like that, you're coming off as a commercial. And no, who's interested in being pitched? They want to know that you have something, you're really interested in them. And that's what I'll add as far as LinkedIn and Facebook, in my opinion.
Cool.
What I found is that everybody has heard the money's in the list, and if you're calling people on a one-to-one basis, I don't care if it's people you haven't spoken to in a year, 2 years on Skype, or somebody that's in your contact list. If you just pick up the phone or you pick up the mic and you call George or Sally or whoever, and you approach it from, hi, Sally, it's been a long time since we spoke. I hope you're doing okay. I was just going through my friends list and just doing some updates, and it's good to see that we're still able to connect. I hope you'll get back in touch and catch me up to date at some point. I know you're busy. How are things going with you? Get them to talk. And, well, great. It's been great talking to you. Don't ever pitch your business to them at that point. You're just opening a door for recommunication. And then get back in touch with them a week later, and then you can say, hey, Sally, we just spoke last week, and I thought maybe I would just share this with you, and no pressure, just if you have a chance to look at this, get back to me if you have any questions, or just give me your feedback. I'd like to hear what's going on with you these days. You're going to have that person get back to you and say, I like what the content was, and could you tell me a little more about it? Or what are you doing? This is different than the last time we spoke. They ask you what you're doing. That opens the door for you to let out for them.
Yeah, and something else to remember too is when in terms of if you've got somebody that's a past client, if you're waiting a year to talk to them, that's a big mistake. You want to keep in touch with them, follow up, find that, just ask them how they're doing. Just keep in touch. Be a friend, just be somebody there for them. Let them know that you remember them and you really respect and cherish their service, or just you cherish them in general.
Right.
I learned a very useful tip from one of my friends who's a great marketer and a very nice guy. And he said when you advertise, like Ron was saying, it's like a commercial. People who are already interested in whatever you're doing generally are going to do it. It's not that big of a deal, because if you say, join my team, make more money, do this, get better health, do X, Y, Z, whatever the condition is, whatever you're putting out there, people who already had that interest are generally going to jump on it. And it's going to get difficult, especially if multiple people are doing it, whatever it is. But when you personally invite someone and you say, hey, Ron, hey, Francis, hey, Carl, hey, Bob, hey, Jim, I really think you should be, or I thought about you and I'd like you to be part of this, or you just put the personal touch. You message them, not with a canned message, but you just say, hey, what's going on? You talk to them, and you're being sincere about it. It's just something you would do yourself. I would never say get someone an opportunity you wouldn't want to be in yourself. And then you say like, hey, Ron, I really do like pay me what I'm worth. It really makes me feel good. Or, hey, Ron, I really feel good about the power hour. It helps educate me. And you invite people. And when you do that place from inviting people and you're sincere in your heart about that you actually get value from what you're doing, the people will come and they'll get value and they'll want to be part of what you're doing. And that's kind of what we're doing here. I personally invite people. I don't ever go like, hey, everybody, you got to join now, because that really doesn't work. I mean, I've made Facebook posts. I made quite a bit of posts. That doesn't work. What works is a heartfelt message, invite somebody, talk to them like a regular dude, and you'll be fine.
Is Darius on right now? Kareem is.
Not sure if you're able to hear me. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
We hear you clearly, my friend. Go for it. The floor is yours, bud. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
No, man, thank you. I appreciate it. I joined in a little bit late, so I kind of didn't
fine,
get to hear
bro.
like what the.
We're not like that. Don't worry about it, bro. Go ahead. The floor is yours, bud.
So, what was the question?
Oh, we're just talking about our experiences with social media and the way that we connect with people tonight. We're doing kind of a training on what people on new entrepreneurs should be talking about when they're posting on social media, making connections and inspiring hearts and minds and inspiring people rather than pushing themselves on people and pushing them.
Gotcha. I'd say one thing that I've learned from just kind of just integrating like social media into like a kind of like a funnel. So, you know, I do a lot of digital marketing, just all internet marketing as far as like products or optimizing like search engine optimization, SEO, pay per click, all this type of stuff. And one thing I've learned just from like dealing with social media is it's all about just the audience. So like everything is, you know, kind of what you guys were saying. It's about building relationships and just being genuine with people. But like on a scale, it's just all about kind of just helping. Like it doesn't matter if if you're helping just a little bit, if you're helping a lot, just one little thing that helps just one person, and it tends to plant a seed that grows. So you can help somebody today, and 6 months from now you'll get their business. Or you can help someone, today, and then a year from now you get a referral from them because of the small thing that you did. And I feel like there's a lot of entrepreneurs are not like they're so focused on the short-term gain that they're not capitalizing on the relationships.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Ron.
Darius, you want to, because I know you started off with an online. You want to kind of explain the importance of your list and how soon and how often you want to.
Okay, well with me, like list is just it's almost such an important thing that you don't even like. I feel like in this day and age, people should not. You don't even have to say like you need to build a list. Like it should be that self-explanatory. But I understand it's not with a lot of business owners. And with me personally, I start building a list from day one. So it doesn't matter if I'm starting if I want to start any new product, any new service, the first thing you'll see on my website is a sign-up form. No matter if I only have one page on my website, it'll be a sign-up form. And I personally, I like to kind of, I don't like using the word nurture, but I just communicate with my list immediately. So to give you an idea of like the process that I use, I typically, someone signs up, I send them a welcome, like, hey, welcome, I'm Darius. This is what you'll get out of this. This is what you won't get out of this. If this isn't what you want to get, then, you might just want to unsubscribe right now. Here's the button. And then I usually do maybe a day or two, send them something pretty helpful, like, hey, here's 3 different things that may help you. And then from that, I then segment that whatever link they choose. I typically do 3 different types of posts or 3 different types of information. And whatever they decide to click on, I then put them in another group and send them information more targeted towards whatever they clicked. And then, you just kind of do that over time, and you start to learn, about people on a scale. So I end up learning about, 5,000 to 10,000 people, what they really like on a scale, and it's automated to the point where I can I can go on my email service provider and look up, people who are interested in, growing their business, or people who are interested in learning about an email list, or, just any little topic. And it's, you can segment that further to people who are interested in growing their business and growing their list. So it's like, I kind of just start communication immediately.
That's very important. And I also think that what else is very important is it is important to nurture. That was the correct word you used, because, if me and Kareem, if we were just about money, nobody would do the show with us. If we were just about financial gain and we were just about us and what our dream is, and our dream is to unite the world's entrepreneurs. That's our dream, and to unite people that have the entrepreneurial spirit so they can come to our show, brainstorm, get themselves taken seriously, get their ideas known, and get themselves out there. That's why we do this. So it's a team effort. Everybody's here for everybody else. And I think nurturing those connections is in creating brotherhood and sisterhood. That's what's going to make a business thrive. You could have 10,000 leads and 10,000 people on your list, and if you don't get to know each and every one of those people, like on a personal level, and that's dangerous. I mean, people have to get to know what you're about. There has to be that integrity and that sincerity in what you're putting forth to people. For sure. Go ahead, Ron. I know you're chomping at the bit there, bud.
Oh yeah, I was actually more. I was actually Darius. I'm loving this because
yeah, he's good. Go ahead,
when somebody's just starting off, let's just say, because we've always heard it takes either money or it's going to take time to build your business. What would you recommend in terms of somebody who doesn't have the money to market their business?
So are you saying as far as like just growing your business just completely, or is it a certain aspect that you want to grow?
Yeah, let's just say somebody who's they're starting off as an entrepreneur, but maybe they don't have a lot of funds to put into growing their business, but they have a gut feeling. What would you recommend the best way of really branding themselves on a cost-effective way?
Gotcha. Okay, so I mean that's pretty easy for me because when I first started, I had $0. I actually had less than $0. I was actually in debt. Not a lot of debt, but enough to make you not want to do anything. So what I would recommend anyone do, and kind of what I do whenever I'm entering like a new niche, is just to create yourself a simple website. You can get a domain name for, let's say, $10. You can get hosting for, let's say, $5. And then you can use a platform called WordPress. WordPress is free. Let's say we're at $15. And WordPress is free. You can set up something really simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. And then what I'll do from that is I would go on a platform like Reddit, or even if you just want to hop in some Facebook groups or something that has like an audience of whatever you're trying to serve. So if they have potential customers, perfect audience. I would make a post on, let's say, Reddit and say, hey, my name is Darius. I'm interested in helping this business owner do this. I have 2 spots available where I'll personally help you grow your business for free and walk you straight through it. And, get you good results, blah, 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 whatever. So I typically would keep those short. From that, you hope to get more than the number of spots you said you had. So if you said I have 2 spots open, you hope to get 3. You want 3 people to be interested, because you want a surplus of people to be interested, because once you do that job for those 2 people, then you go back to that one person or 2 people or however many people extra it was and say, hey, these are the results that I got. Let me do this for you. But now I have to charge you because you wasn't fast enough to get my special. And then because you helped 2 people, you now have 2 pieces of kind of like work. You have a portfolio now. So you can say, hey, I did these 2, this is my work, these are the results, like I can get you these results, or I can help you with this problem. And now you have something to pitch to people if you choose to go that route. Or you can always post again on another forum or another group or another subreddit on Reddit and just say, hey, look what I did for these people. I can do the same thing for you. And that's personally how I would recommend anyone who has no money, or because I mean $15, $20, most people can get $15, $20.
Darius, could I jump in here a minute?
Yes, Francis.
Yeah, of course.
The only thing I didn't hear you say.
Francis, you're too far away from your microphone.
The only thing I didn't hear you say, Darius, was that 2 people that you got, and you're saying, I showed these 2 people how to do this. You need to get their endorsement and their testimony to put on your short little website.
Oh yeah, I mean I agree with that. Testimonies help 100%. And if you can get them, then go for it and grab them, because it'll make your conversion of people that that either interact with you or see the post, it goes up exponentially just when they see someone else verify it.
Oh yeah.
The main reason Amazon is in business, the main reason people like Groupon so much, because they can see if I see 1,000 people bought it, for some reason, psychological reason in my brain, I assume this must not be a bad idea or this must not be a bad product.
That's right. And that, go ahead, Frank.
Two people that, if you got your 3 people from the 2 people you said you had spots for, and if you were only hoping for 2, that third person, you put them under the first person that came in, and voila, you got your matrix started.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing to remember about that too is not only in the case of testimonials, let's just say maybe your client is, or your customer that purchased your service, maybe they're a business owner. And the importance of having them, not only put a testimonial, but there's also a possibility if they're running their own business, they may put a little blurb on their website. Now you've just doubled your traffic as well.
There you go. I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. And I feel like for most, if you're doing anything service related, most of your business will come from referrals. So after a while, there's no more acquisition for you. It's just, referrals, and you kind of build that waiting list.
And we've got people who are behind the Entrepreneur Power Hour that are doing testimonials for us. They're recommending our show to people. Why? Because we're real. And we care about helping people get off the treadmill, bro. And that's the same thing what you're talking about. And it doesn't matter what people do. They could be a freaking selling potatoes out of a truck, for Christ's sake. We don't care. That's entrepreneurial. Anything they're doing that's entrepreneurial, they're welcome on the show. They don't have to be in network marketing. They don't have to be in a network marketing company. Doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
What would you say?
Go ahead, Francis.
I think a lot of people are confused by the term network marketing.
Yes, they are.
Internet marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a difference there. Big time.
Francis, your camera's off.
I know. I planned it that way.
Okay.
Now, the other thing I think about there, too, actually, Darius and I talked a little bit about this, is with the service-related industry, anytime you're offering a service, great thing about referrals or building a relationship is you can open up the potential for residual incomes like no tomorrow. I mean, and network marketing, internet marketing, it's about referral as well. But when we're talking a legitimate service base, you're also talking about potential residuals like no tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, network marketing, everybody does it. If you go and get some food you like tomorrow and then you message me, Kareem, Taco Bell's having this, or Kareem, Wendy's that has good, or any example, or the new Star Wars movie was awesome. Go check that out. That's network marketing in a nutshell. I think the problem that happens is people maybe associate it with specific companies and then have a negative connotation, which isn't true.
Nope. Yeah, I agree. I think that people need to realize that it's about building friendship and matching ideas and putting those ideas to work together towards a common goal, towards a common vision. That's what network marketing is. You're marketing you're marketing a network. What is a network? Well, a network is a group of people who believe in the same thing and they want to achieve the same thing. That's what a network is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how a network functions effectively. Am I right, Ron?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. How about some cost-effective solutions for folks? I'm referring this one back to Darius on this one. What would you recommend as far as some lower-cost advertising methods?
I always, and it kind of depends on the time frame, but for anyone who has, you don't have a lot of money, most likely you have time. So if you have time, I always recommend you start a blog and start doing some type of SEO. So SEO in a nutshell is just having good content and an optimized website, and Google looks at it and says, hey, this looks good. Let me push you up the search. So let me put you up. If somebody searches for entrepreneur show and we're putting out good content, they'll say, oh, this looks good. So let me put this number 2 or number 3 or number 1 or whatever. So I always tell people that you need to blog for one. 2, you need to contribute to other people's blogs. You need to guest post on other people's blogs. That way you not only get in front of an audience that you don't already have, you grab a link, and a link on the internet, if I link to a website, it's the equivalent of me endorsing someone. It's the equivalent of me saying, I verify that this is a nice website, or I verify that this is a good site. And by getting links, you build your reputation. So to Google, you build your reputation. And I always recommend you contribute on other people's blogs just for the sheer fact of adding value to an audience that you don't have. Another thing I recommend that people do, what were you saying?
I was going to say, you're not saying comment about the Power Hour on other people's blogs? In other words,
No.
So like when I say contribute on someone's blog, like if I say contribute on someone's blog, I mean more of you contact them. So you'll say, hey man, like I love what you're doing. I love the audience that you have. I love the content you're putting out. I have some similar content that I think may be beneficial to your audience. It may add value. I'd love for you to check it out and give me an opportunity to have this piece published on your website or your blog.
Okay.
And yeah, and what that does is it's almost like it frees the author up. So whoever's writing these posts, they're like totally like, I don't have to do, that's one less post I have on my plate. And then if as long as it's a good post and it's not just something quick and cheap that you tried to put out just to get to be featured on a blog, then it's like that audience that is already there will say, oh, wow, this guy looks like he knows what he's talking about. What else does he do? Let me follow him around the internet. Let me find out about this guy. And, that builds authority. So that gives you the authority to kind of recommend things, and you become the go-to person for whatever topic you're speaking about, or one of the go-to people.
I follow you. Thank you for clarifying that.
So the other good thing about that too is when you're doing something like that, for one, if you got another person that's got similar content, maybe they go into a dry spell of their own. They're looking for more content. You built a relationship with them. You built a friendship. And now all of a sudden they can come back to you as an authority and say, do you have any more content you'd like to share? And of course, you're welcome to help. And at the same point, what they do is by putting a link onto their site and the same point you've linked yourself, now all of a sudden you've got double the traffic that Google's seeing you twice. And, maybe they get more people that are following that up. And all of a sudden it gives you a chance to really, really explode where you're seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I've experimented, with
we have some new guests here. We have a couple of our regulars here. Rick and Cheryl Rodriguez, I'd like you to meet. We have a new guest here tonight. What's your name? Darius what, sir?
Darius Bergen.
We got Darius Bergen here tonight, Rick and Cheryl. So welcome. Thanks for joining us. Continue, Darius. Sorry I interrupted you, bud.
Nice to meet you. No problem. Nice to meet you, too. Who am I speaking with now?
That's Cheryl. Rick and Cheryl are a couple of our regulars. They're great people, and they contribute a lot to this mastermind. And so, yeah, they're joining us tonight, too.
We thought
awesome. Nice to meet you, Rick and Cheryl.
We have a few minutes before we have to go, but we thought we'd pop in and
That's very cool. Yeah, appreciate that. So, yeah, we're talking about how what you should do on social media and what you shouldn't do, and what our experiences have been using Facebook and Twitter and Google and things like that. And Darius was talking about list building and email lists and marketing and things like that. Darius, do you want to continue with what you were saying? Sorry, bro.
Yeah, it's the only thing I was saying was just that like I've experimented with commenting on blogs, and actually, like a lot of blogs use I think it's pronounced discus, and it's like it's kind of like just a commenting kind of like a commenting system. So I've experimented with actually commenting on other people's blogs, like, hey man, like great article, awesome. And you do that over time, especially for websites that may be hard to contact or they may have high standards. And you do that over a number of times. You build relationships with just the author or the editors or whoever the owner is, and you build relationships that way to the point where you can bypass a lot of the people that are just sending emails like, hey, I would love to be featured. I would love to be featured. I have content that you might need. And it works wonderfully for the hard to reach blogs.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever use backlinkers for your content?
At one point in time, I did actually. So I would never use that today, but a few years ago, it used to be like you used to be able to kind of cheat the system of Google, and you could get things ranked pretty high, pretty quickly, and all that. And it was just a bad use of my time overall. Now that I look back on it, and it's like, as long as you're adding value and you're updating things consistently, publishing posts, like it takes time, but it's one of those things that, once you build an audience, that audience is not easily taken from you. So unless you really screw up, that audience is there. They support you. They trust you. They follow you. And unless you just do something ridiculous, it's hard to lose that audience. So it takes time to build up, and I wouldn't use any type of backlinkers, or I wouldn't use any type of software to rank or anything like that.
What
and there's
about,
people,
article spinner?
No.
Nope. So article spinner is one of those things that was in my toolkit as well. And yeah, I just wouldn't recommend it for the long term. Now like I said, there's.
Sorry, Darius. I was just getting ready to explain to her. Those article spinners are really bad ideas, because that's actually the reason Google changed their things up. Because people they would just do like the article spinning and weren't really creating new content. It was just kind of regurgitated mess.
Right.
And but due to Google's new rules, how about explaining to her a little bit about the long tail keywords there, Darius?
Gotcha. So let's say for a typical search, someone may open up Google and say entrepreneur show. Now, most likely just that two entrepreneur show is probably very competitive. So there's probably these big entrepreneur shows that are, that rank top at Google. And if you search that, the first 5 things will be big places and big names. So you would never try to rank for something like that. You would never try to really create content around an entrepreneur show, just that one topic. Now, what you may try to do is entrepreneur show around social media. So what that does is that adds extra layers, that dives deeper into the entrepreneur show, the niche. And as you start to niche down, there are people that, I've received some searches that'll say marketing help when leaving the hospital. like just ridiculous things. And that's just an example, but ridiculous things that you would never, I would never think to even create anything around that. But the fact that people search these very descriptive and long searches, those are the things that you really want to utilize, because you can create a post around that, and you'll be one of the only people creating that type of content, because everybody is focused basically they're focused on the goal. They're not focused on the shovels.
Yeah.
So yeah, long-term keyword searches or anything like that. So if you use something like a free tool I use is Google Keyword Planner. It's free, and just the fact that it's free alone is good enough for me. And it's accurate. It's Google's. It's not the most accurate because it does fluctuate, but it's kind of like as accurate as you're going to get. And I use that, and I'll go type in something. So if I'm trying to do, let's say I want to start up a maid service, a house cleaning service, I'll look up house cleaning, and then I'll just look at all the things that pop up, and it'll be like house cleaning in California. And then I'll be like, okay, well, I see that people are appending states to this. Let me look up house cleaning in, let's say, Ohio. And then I'll type that in, and I might see house cleaning in Ohio quick. And I'm like, okay, well, people, they want a maid cleaning business in Ohio, and they want it to be cooked. They want it to be quick. So then I'll type that in, and I'll just keep typing things in until I niche down onto something that seems viable. So something that may pop up would be quick house cleaning service on call last minute. And then I'll create a business strictly around house cleaning, like last minute house cleanings. And I'll charge a premium because not only will I be one of the only people creating content around just strict house cleaning, like just quick and last minute, but I'll be so specialized. My business will be completely around that to the point where I dominate that small little piece of the pie. And then once I dominate that small little piece of the pie, I expand just a little bit more. And over time, you continue to expand and expand until you become a big player.
Yep.
Now, when you're looking up on those, when you're actually checking on the keywords, what's a perfect audience size? Because obviously you don't want to go with a long-term keyword that's like, but there's only like a search of maybe 20 people a month.
I say there's never a perfect size. Like there's never, in my opinion, there's never a perfect anything. So you have to, like I've seen people, like I have a guy who does like outdoor equipment, and he niched down, and I'm not going to mention his niche because he probably would be like, yo, that's not cool. But he niched down so far. He niched down so far to a niche that only received, I think it was 400 searches a month. And he made his whole business around kind of like this one product. And now he does over $2 million a year off of this small little piece of the pie. And that's still just off of that small 400 searched keyword, 400, monthly searches. And now because his brand is so strong for that one product, he can easily expand it to any other type of product inside of that kind of niche. So he can expand a little bit, and all that trust and brand authority that he built up will now be transferred into his new product. So his customers will now associate his new product with the same quality as his old product. And you just slowly do that, and you do it over time to the point where you slowly start to catch up on the big guys. At first, they look at you like, oh, he's only doing this. We offer this too, so we're going to immediately knock him out of business. But what they don't understand is they're not specializing in it. They don't have customer support specialized on that problem. They don't have content specialized on that problem completely. Like they may kind of do it a little bit, but they're not going to spend that much time on it because to them it's such a low volume keyword or a low volume part of their business. Why would they spend time on it? And they ignore that part, and that's kind of what smaller guys like us, that's what we capitalize off of.
Tortoise and the hare syndrome.
I like that. Honestly, what I've really found is if you can make good content and good products, that's the key to start online. And then obviously you want a home base, which is your website, and you want your own brand. But definitely it comes from just making quality content and getting some traffic to it. Absolutely.
I had somebody ask me about press releases. And I had to tell them, I said, there's a right time and a wrong time. Would you agree with that, Darius?
Say that one more time. The phone was breaking up.
I had somebody ask me about press releases, and I said, well, there's a right time and a wrong time for a press release. Would you agree with that one?
So I have barely used press releases, so I don't think I'm completely qualified to answer on it. But I have seen, I've seen both sides of it. So I've seen them work nicely. So I've seen press releases go pretty far, and you get a lot of press on things like Yahoo and BuzzFeed and just these different big media sites. But I've also seen them just go out into the internet maze and just never come back. They're gone. You never get anything from them.
Yeah.
So I usually tell people to focus on things that we know to get results more often than not. And then once you've exhausted those options, then go do a press release, do something different, do something to try to, gain some new traction.
I actually, in my experience, because I wrote press releases a long time, you never want to, I'm not going to say never, but if it's not newsworthy, if you may think it's newsworthy, but there are several things you want to really look at. I have the whole list upstairs, but you may believe in your business right off the bat, but if it's not unique enough and it's not newsworthy enough, it's probably not the right time for a press release.
Yeah, and I would have to agree with that. I would say if press releases are going to work for someone's business, they would have to be newsworthy. It would have to be something that's just that people can talk about. I remember at Amazon when they launched a press release, and of course they're Amazon, so it'll go everywhere. But they dropped a press release for, I think it was their drone delivery service, something that they probably would never be able to implement just because of the government. But just the fact that they even did a press release for that generated so much buzz around Amazon that, it probably was beneficial for them to actually release that, even though I still believe that it's something they will not be able to actually utilize. But just, it was newsworthy. It's something like a drone delivering my boxes. Like, are you serious?
I think I just heard something about that where they got curtailed by not the FCC, what agency is that? That handles the airspace. Anyhow, they put a kibosh to that one.
Yeah, so it's just something that you most likely they would never be, and I think they probably already knew that they would never be able to actually get that implemented. But it's just the fact of showing. Not only did they drop that to generate buzz around their brand name, but their competitors, now they look like a monster. They look like the biggest company, in that space, because they have the technology to do that. And now it's that's kind of like a warning shot to their competitors. Like, hey, you're barking up the wrong tree. Like, we have this new technology that we're going to be releasing that, it'll put you out of business. You won't be able to do it. And that scares people away. Just the fear alone, like, oh, well, they're Amazon. They have all this stuff. They now have drones that they'll never be able to use. Man, we can't compete with that. So I think that press releases, I think they have their place. I'm just I'm just not that. I wish I was more experienced to give some better, some advice or something around that topic.
Oh, we'll have coffee sometime there, Darius, and that we'll go over that. We're close enough.
I find that when I write press releases on IBO Toolbox, now we're talking about that, I guess press releases would be IBO, not necessarily blogging. Well, I guess it's called blogging. But I find that I just write from the heart, and I just write about things I think that people would be interested in reading. It doesn't necessarily have to be business related, because to make a successful business work, people gotta know you, not necessarily all of your skills. I mean, yeah, you gotta have skills, but I think it's more important to know who the people are that you're dealing with.
Yeah. It also depends on what service you're going to use. In terms of press release, there are free press releases. Those are good enough for a story like what you're talking about. Obviously, if you're going to go out and send that on to the news wires, the news wires are much different. They're a whole different entity to deal with.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true. I also find that when I observe what people are posting on Twitter or they're posting on Facebook or Google, I watch what's trending and I look at what people are talking about. And then if I've got something to add, like if I want to tweet something about something I've read that I'm inspired by, I'll retweet that. I'll like it and I'll retweet it. Or if somebody shares something on Facebook that really inspires me, I'll share that and I make sure they know I've shared that and I comment. And that gets you a connection with someone almost instantly. They're going to respond back and go, well, thank you for doing that. And you've just opened the door to start talking to them. It's very, very easy to make a connection with people because they're there. That's the point of social media. You're there to connect with people.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's another. I was just getting ready to go into that. Trending. I mean, when is the right time? Because, like for example, let's just say about a month ago, Star Wars came out. Then everybody's writing in something like, "Ooh, learn the Jedi mind trick of their so and so." Or everybody started capitalizing on what was popular. What's your opinion on the hot topics and when to really get in on the trends?
Well, I think that if getting in on the trending topics, it has to be something you're interested in. And if it's not something you're interested in, don't talk about it. I mean, for me, it's got to be something I'm really passionate about and interested in. Because I don't want to go into some kind of trending topic and act like I know what the topic's about if I don't have any information on what they're talking about. I mean, so you got to be selective of what's trending. What's trending, and what I think really stands out is when somebody's talking about motivation, or they're talking about desire, or they're talking about what it takes to succeed and how hard it is, but they keep going. You know, they talk about their struggles or something they're struggling with, what they've overcame. That inspires me to get involved in a trending topic of conversation. Because I don't care if I have to crawl. I'm going to make it to where I want to be in life. I don't care how many people go, well, aren't you burning out, man? You know, do you ever take time to relax, man? No, I don't give a shit about relaxing. I'll relax when I'm done. You know, I will chill out when I'm done. And that's the difference between success and failure. You either push yourself and realize what you're capable of, because as long as your brain's going, the body won't stop. If your brain is motivated enough and you have the desire in yourself, your body won't quit.
So like a bad idea here in Ohio, for example, would be, let's just say a trending topic. Let's just say, okay, we're talking about positive mindset. So it might not be a good idea to start off a blog saying, Cavalier approach to getting positive. Things are here with the Cavaliers. They're a little bit questionable right now.
Yeah. I think it's a matter of keeping an eye out for what interests you, Ron, and the things you enjoy talking about.
Well, it would seem to be take something popular from the news and just throw somebody's name into it and kind of capitalize off of using their name.
I try to avoid talking to people who are engulfed by the media, though.
Yeah.
those are the people I tend to stay away from because they tend to be the most negative. You know, the ones that are watching the news all the time, or they're up on what's currently happening. They're not very positive. Not that I'll shun them or I won't talk to them, but I will be very, very careful about how long I will speak with them. If it starts to get too negative or it starts to get too depressing, I'm done.
I was referring more to when you're talking about the trending.
Yeah.
You know, into for the content, just to get that little, like what they did, like what the guys did with the Star Wars, like the Jedi mind tricks and how to learn how to do this, learn how to be like a market like a Jedi. Come on, really? We're just trying to capitalize off Star Wars here, which is great. People are gonna read whatever.
Yeah,
but there's a right time and a wrong time.
That's right. That's right. And anything political, religious, or anything like that, I will not engage in it.
I just actually here on the news today they had the three most commonly the negative things that people see on Facebook that really drives them nuts.
I know.
And here actually in Ohio, the thing that people find most offensive are pictures of food.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Now, New Jersey. They said
They get offended by food pictures in Ohio?
You posted those waffles. How dare you?
New Jersey's worst was pictures of babies. I'm not kidding.
Just like newborn babies or somebody's kid?
Yeah, and then I forget. I think Alabama's was people posting about personal issues, which I have to admit, I thought that was going to be high for Ohio. Because who likes to read that?
Yeah.
I'm, personal issues. I don't really want to see it on Facebook. I was a little surprised to see that Facebook here in Ohio was pictures of food. That really shocked me.
Yeah, I know.
Ron, if you go out to a restaurant, you better not take any selfies.
No selfies of eating. That's bad.
Selfies was number one most irritating in, I think, Mississippi.
I could see why that would be irritating.
Especially selfies with the duck kid. What's that?
Oh, or those blondes at the baseball game. That one drove me nuts.
I don't know that one.
Oh, I'll send you a link later, Ron. It's
if it's that annoying, I don't want to see it.
These girls are sitting around watching a baseball game, and there's a telecast going on, and they're all on their phones. Every last one of them are on their phones instead of enjoying the game.
Oh,
and I'm like, you overprivileged brats. I would love to go to a Major League Baseball game. I am a baseball freak. Not as much as my buddy Kyle. He's worse than me. But, I mean, I got to go all the way to Toronto just to see a game. And these young ladies are not watching the game.
I don't think they appreciate maybe what they have, and that's why. But the interesting thing is, like, with selfies and the food and all this stuff, I think you can use trending things to your advantage or it can hurt you. Like, I can talk to somebody personally and say, like, oh, are you a Seahawks fan? Or are you a Broncos fan? Or what? And then I can talk to them about maybe, what did you think of the new Star Wars? And that can be a conversation starter. But I don't necessarily hang on those topics to just live by them. Like, I'm not just posting Star Wars stuff, but I can use that to leverage a relationship and to get to know somebody.
Chris, I got a caption for that picture.
Oh.
The girls,
it's a video, bro. I'm going to show it to you.
No. Oh.
And the announcers are making fun of them, and they're like, somebody needs to go in the audience and just collect all the phones. You get them back at the end of the game. And then they announce a play, and there's the base hit into left field, and nobody noticed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's...
That's truly striking out in love, I'm telling you.
I know, man. It's brutal. It's like, okay, if you don't like sports, okay, fine. But here was one of the main issues that my friend brought up when we were watching this video. You know how when a 12-year-old, let's say you, Ron, take your son to a baseball game. Mm-hmm. Your son, your little 6-year-old son, and he's frothing at the mouth because he has his glove and he wants to catch a foul ball. Do you know what they're trying to do in the MLB? They're want to put up nets and fences behind home plate because people are getting hit with bats and balls because their faces are in their phones instead of watching what's going on. So people like that are ruining the experience for kids, and that's what I was.
The woman I saw that happened in Boston, she was actually watching the game, but it happened so fast. When that bat smashed her in the head, they actually had to pan away.
Yeah.
She saw it coming, but that's a situation.
Anyway, let's get back on topic.
But yeah, anyway, with that and like Major League Baseball and everything, I think it comes down to the point people who are engaged and active and aware, paying attention, are going to get rewarded by what they're doing, and people who aren't, not necessarily you're going to get hit by a bat on social media, though, you never know. But definitely if you're paying attention to social media, what's trending, how to interact with people, what to do, what not to do, and what to post, what not to post. Definitely, if you're an entrepreneur, I try and share entrepreneurial stuff. I try and share something that's thought-provoking. Maybe once in a while share something a little bit edgy here and there. But I definitely try and captivate the audience that I would be a part of. I'm not one person trying to be like, oh, I'm business professional here, or I'm not entrepreneurial here. I'm definitely Kareem Mays throughout the whole thing on social media or in real life. So what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
I think that's part of being aware and being effective. Darius, you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Cool.
He was listening to me go on my baseball rant. Sorry about that, Darius. It just, oh, man.
My fault. I brought up the Facebook thing on news.
Yeah. That's okay.
Oh, that's no problem.
Did you know that here in Ohio that the pictures of food was the worst?
I did not.
Wow.
A little bit of a shocker for us.
Yeah.
Now, what do you when you're not? Let's just say you're doing your blog. Are you doing your blog basically just about your services you offer, or are you like what Kareem was saying? Are you just letting people try to get to know you, and then they can just take it as it is?
So me, I rarely blog about my services. Like the things I typically blog about are topics that help people as far as like in my kind of like this niche. So for example, I'll go back to this maid cleaning service that I mentioned earlier. So let's say I'm doing a maid cleaning service. I would blog about how to clean your house quicker, how to organize your papers. I would blog about things related to actual cleaning, things that, the audience can find helpful. And then, I kind of, after building that relationship, it's like, I don't necessarily sell. I just give them options like, hey, I can do it, or I'll teach you how to do it. I'll show you how to do it. Just check out my blog. And, that way it's like, it's kind of like a genuine relationship. I'm not trying to push anybody onto things. And as far as like blogging around, like, I can say like newsworthy topics or, something like Star Wars or anything like that, I just judge it based off of my audience. So like, I'm a type of person where I'm like, I don't care what I want. I may love basketball, but I don't care. If my audience doesn't like basketball, I'm not going to talk about basketball.
Yeah, I love basketball. There you go.
And I'm more of a market guy. So whatever the market wants, that's what I give it. Yeah. So I usually, if my audience is interested in a certain topic and that topic becomes popular, I talk about it. But if there's some topics, if everybody's talking about Star Wars and my audience doesn't like Star Wars, well, Star Wars just doesn't exist to me. I'm not going to talk about it, and they don't have to read that.
I was going to say there's a point where that's actually a great point you brought that up, because there's a point where certain things that are trending, it gets to a point where it's overdone, and it can be annoying to the audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like depending on what your audience likes, it's going to be, like if you're talking about the topics that they like, it's hard for them to, to feel like, wow, he's talking too much about what I like. Like you rarely hear people get tired of things they like. You know, for me, for example, like if someone's talking about basketball, it's going to be hard for me to kind of get tired of hearing them talk about basketball because that's what I like. But if they start talking about, you know, maybe some construction or something that kind of I have no interest in, it's like, oh, okay, well,
it's a red light.
Like, yeah,
it's a red light for me.
Yeah, so it's like I'm more of a like, you just talk about, you got to know your audience. You got to know what they want to hear, what they're interested in, what they like, and talk about topics, you know, that interest them, no matter if they become popular or not.
Interestingly enough, I think it was the end of high school. I was sitting with actually a guy I wasn't great friends with, but he gave me some awesome advice. He said a lot of people out here are looking for something to do, a niche, or someone to look up to, someone to give them some guidance in a positive way, obviously. And he said, when people are doing that and they're looking around, they find the person who's doing something, who's talking about basketball, public speaking, the maid cleaning service, the entrepreneur power hour, health, whatever. And then when they find that person who's actually doing it, who's actually going out and doing the thing, not just watching and not just looking around, they start to say, oh, there's a guy who's interested and who's actually engaged in what I want to do. And they start following. And really, all trends is one day someone saw Lucas's comic book and said, this is kind of brilliant. Why don't you make a movie out of it? He's like, well, I don't know if that will work. And that may or may not happen. But the whole point I want to make is when you're actually the guy setting the trend, people who are looking for that trend or looking for that help will come to you.
Yep, I agree with you.
Yep, me too.
That's a great point. You know, you'll never know if you're going to be a trendsetter unless you actually have the audacity to say something.
It all starts with ideas.
Yeah, and this is all, I want people here to actually become trendsetters, me, Chris, Ron, because the whole point of the Entrepreneur Power Hour is to give people the voice so they can say, okay, here's who I really am. Here's my identity. Here's what I like to do. Here's what I don't like to do. Here's what I want to change in the world. Not what mom and dad told me, not what my employees told me,
or
not
society.
what my neighbor or society or my neighbors.
Yep.
But who I want to be.
Yep, being free from all the bullshit.
Get out of the Entrepreneur Power Hour.
Yes, Francis, go for it.
Talking to adults.
Yeah.
If you're a parent and you're talking at a level of a 6-year-old or a 12-year-old, I adapt that to talking to new entrepreneurs that see an ad or they see a blog that I posted and they're interested in the topic. They want to know how to get in on whatever I'm discussing. And then you're in a training mode. It's like you're talking to babies and you don't get to nurture yourself and to come to the Power Hour and listening to Ron or Demetria or just Darius. I'm sorry. Please give me Darius. I can remember the last name was Bergen.
It's no problem.
You know, it's enlightening and it's infusing that it starts your mind to working and gives me more to build my own character on and my own growth on.
You know, it's interesting you brought that kind of the whole kind of imagery right there, because actually when you go in front of an investor, they tell you they want you to simplify it to where you can explain it like a 6-year-old would to them, which is really funny. Don't know why that is, but you know, whereas once you get your business started, it's you can build it the way you want. But when you're going in front of an investor, they want it in simplest terms possible.
Right, and
really bizarre.
Always the bottom line is, what's the money? what's the money? Well, you know, I was just talking to somebody today. I said, I can't tell you that you're going to make $5,000 in 1 month. It's the exception to the rule because you don't have the mindset, you don't have the tools. You've got to build your own toolbox, you've got to build your own approach, and you've got to first make connections with other like-minded people. And how are you going to do that? I can give you the avenues, I can give you suggestions, but you're going to have to make them your own.
Yeah. Well, actually, Darius, and we were talking earlier, and he goes, you just got to have the guts.
Yeah.
You got to have the guts to say, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do, but you got to put 100% of your guts into it if you want to be right.
That's right. There's no half-assed with this. There's no one foot in the pool and the other's kind of sitting on the edge. I mean, you're all in or you're not at all, and that's the difference between average people and successful people.
Yeah, there's no way.
People, you know, we live in a culture or we live in a time when everybody wants everything to be easy. You know, why can't it just be easy? Well, because then it wouldn't be worth it.
Kind of hard to get to the finish line when you don't take the car out of park.
Well, if you don't know what it's like to battle for what you want and to get there through battling, how the hell are you ever going to appreciate it? Like,
the key word in networking is work.
Exactly. Network marketing. Hello. You know, and if you want it, you'll get it, and you'll do whatever it takes to get there. If you don't want it, don't even bother starting. You know, people think being an entrepreneur is like, oh, well, you get to work for yourself. That must be so great. And I look at them and I go, nah. Go on to our channel and watch my video I did about being an entrepreneur and what it really takes. You're your own boss. You hold yourself accountable. You're responsible for your finances. You're responsible for every aspect of your business. It's not like going into work, you do certain things and somebody pays you for it. That's easy. Being employed is easy. Employing yourself, that's a whole different ball game right there, man. That's a completely different ball game right there. And that's why you need people.
And you just line drive to first base.
And I did. Yep, there you go.
I actually did a podcast blog talk interview with
Was I there too?
I'm not sure. It was with Brian. It was the magician.
I was there with Brian. Yeah, Brian Kenneth Miller. Yep. Go ahead, Kareem.
And we talked about that he's an entrepreneur and he'd been doing it since maybe high school years. I can't specifically remember, but then he really worked up to it. And then somebody who had a pretty safe, secure job actually said, I want to be an entrepreneur. I think it'll be fun. I'd like to, kind of quit my 9 to 5 and do what you're doing. And it seems really appealing. And he said, like, wait, slow down. And this is interesting because this is the Entrepreneur Power Hour. You're getting like health benefits, you're getting this, he had a lot of different things at his job. And he said, like, don't just quit, man. I mean, slowly work up to what you want. But the hard part is sometimes you have to work a 9 to 5 job and you have to work your dream consistently. I try and be like the guy in between, like work at what you're passionate about. I'm definitely all for your passion, but you need to keep the lights on, keep the bills going, keep all that stuff. So I do agree with Mike Rowe on that. You got to find something that's economical while you build your dream, and then find that path in between where you're working on your dream and you're still going. And that's really keeping it real for the entrepreneurs, and not just like, oh, I'm going to go sip pina coladas all day and then chill out. That's maybe entrepreneurs who are successful, but the problem is the media doesn't really show you what it takes to get there. They just show you the rewards. So it looks, being an entrepreneur is all fun. It's a lot of late nights. It's a lot of being uncertain. It's a lot of handling a lot of problems you didn't expect. And there is a reward, but you have to be willing to go the 10th, 12th, and 20th mile.
Hey Darius, when you started your vape shop, what did your schedule look like when you realized this is what I want to do? Because I know you had mentioned you made $4,000 in your first month. What was that like? Because that is an incredible amount for just starting an online shop.
I think like in most cases, I'm the exception. So I look at business as a video game. It's like my real life video game. So I want to say that when I started that, I was probably sitting at my dining room table for maybe 16 hours out the day. And and the thing about it was I would have sat there longer if I didn't, people were calling like, hey, like, are you okay? Like, we haven't heard from you. Like, yeah, let's just go out for a little bit. And, to try to keep my friendships and stuff like that intact, I would have been sitting at the table for longer. And it's just, it really wasn't 16 hours. Like, it doesn't feel like 16 hours, but that's what it was. And I just think that if you really enjoy what you do, like, the time just flies by so fast that it's like you don't feel like you have enough time. Even if you spend too much time on something, you still don't feel like you have enough time to just to enjoy it.
Yep.
So I always feel like, if you're starting a business and you're not super pumped about it and you're not trying to work on it at every single moment that you get, like, you may not be interested in it. Like, you may not, have that amount of passion for it. And, if you don't have that amount of passion for it, it better solve a big problem in your life, or else you won't feel motivated to do it. So that monetary reward that you're looking to get, it needs to be life changing, or else, without passion, you're just doing it for no reason. And
right.
you don't feel motivated to keep working on it.
And I find it really difficult to convey my passion for the Entrepreneur Power Hour and for paying me what I'm worth and all the stuff me and Kareem have planned. Because I met Kareem, it's been 4 years now. Or 3 years? I think it's been 4. Close to
3 to 4, somewhere around there.
And he believes in me, and to have a friend like that, and all of you guys as my friends, like that believe in this and believe in what we're doing, and we all are entrepreneurs. I mean, we're a special breed, and we're the ones that are going to change the world. And you know what? Pretty soon, when push comes to shove, no one's going to be able to sit on the sidelines anymore, because once that economy tanks, entrepreneurship's going to be the only way to stay afloat. Because machines are replacing human beings in normal jobs. So all those people that just sit around and work 9 to 5 and think that's the life, they're about to get a rude awakening, because technology is going to go, sorry, we don't need you anymore. We're not paying you. You think companies care about their employees? Hell no. Certain ones do. But they're selling to consumers to make money. They could give a rat's ass whether you still have your job in 3 months or not. So the fact that technology is moving towards machines replacing people in certain job situations, good luck if you're not an entrepreneur. That's what's going to happen. And I've got certain friends who are just like, man, that seems like a lot of work. It's like, well, where are you going to be in 10 years? I'm going to be sitting, traveling the world, doing what I want to do, and you're going to be going, oh, wow, why didn't I do something when I could have, and that's fine with me. It's fine.
I kind of agree with you, on some parts with that. I do feel like, I do think that the amount of just day jobs and being employed, like, I do think that that's going to go through a nice little rough patch. And you know, I feel like everyone, even if you are employed, I feel like everyone should have a second income. So it doesn't matter if you're, and for most people, I would say become a consultant, because becoming a consultant is probably the most least expensive way to have a second income. Because the thing is, knowledge and learning, that's all around you. We can go to the library. I have an app on my phone where I can get the ebooks and audiobooks from the library for free, and just blogs and Google. Like, you can learn anything you want to learn. And a lot of people feel like they're not an expert at something, but the thing that defines you as an expert is just knowing more than the person you talk to. Just being able to help a person more than they can help themselves. That makes you an expert. And I feel like everyone should have some type of side income, where it doesn't matter if they're a consultant, if they have, you know, a photography business, if they have some hobby that's producing some type of results. Like, everyone needs a second income, because it's too risky to have all your eggs in one basket.
Oh, well,
Actually, even Warren Buffett himself said that. If those guys are in that 1%, it's about residual. If you don't, you know, that's exactly what they're making their money on. They put their money, they have it built, they have their money working for themselves, basically. You know, but that's what it's about, the residual income. And if you're just working at 9 to 5 and you don't have a residual, you're really in for a rough patch.
Yeah, and the reason I say that I know what's coming is because McDonald's is already replacing people with machines. Okay, in certain parts of the United States, Applebee's no longer has waitresses. You sit down and there's a tablet in front of you, and you tell the tablet what you want, and it immediately goes to the kitchen on a screen.
Yeah.
And that really upsets me, because young women, that's an entry-level job for young women. A lot of women make their money on tips, make their living on tips. They make their living on that. And entry-level jobs are going to be gone very soon. I give it like 10 years max.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be non-existent.
I was going to actually say I know some different ways to, and I'm starting to work this, to create some residual that's really not that difficult. And one thing is consulting. I definitely agree with Darius. Another one that I've been doing and I've had success with, all you need is a webcam, which I'm assuming everyone has. If you don't, get a laptop, it's even a cheap laptop. I just work gigs on Fiverr. And sometimes they're as simple as writing an article or doing a testimonial, or honestly creating a logo, which is not that tough if you sit around with Photoshop or something and play with it, or creating a Canva, which I do that for a power hour, and somebody was interested. Somebody asked me for one, and they gave me a little bit of income for it. So it's not exactly residual, but there's different little odd jobs I've found once you build up your skills. And I'm building up my skills in different places. I'm also working, if you like public speaking, there's Toastmasters. If you like playing video games all day, there's a website called Twitch. I was in the gym one day and I saw that somebody actually made a living by taping their dog and putting it on YouTube. And that's actually not that surprising. Everyone's like, what? Because people watch cat and dog video. If you have a pet, tape your pet. I mean, there are crazy things you can do that I've found will make a residual or an income online.
Yeah, experience is big. There's all sorts of things you can capitalize on in terms of a residual just from your experiences.
Definitely. All right. Well, we're at the top of the hour.
I have one question.
Yes.
Darius, does the name Christopher Hussey mean anything to you?
You said Christopher Hudson?
Hussey.
I don't think so.
I was going to say, I'm
not sure.
Okay, well, I can't call the name of the company, but they actually produced a bacon and it was based on cannabis and CBDs in the vape pen. The bake shop was out of Colorado.
Okay, yeah, I don't, that doesn't ring a a bell. I'm trying to.
Okay, there was, it started with a D, and I was in Colorado for a convention. God, I can't call the name of the company, but Christopher Hussey, and the company, had, the fellow behind the company that was promoting the vape pens and manufacturing the vape.
I know what you're talking. I just got an email from them. Yeah, I know what you're talking about there, but I'm not sure that Darius would know who they were, because I think you're thinking of a different type of vaping.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with like the cannabis industry, but I mean, being as it's still young, I feel like I'm inclined to get associated with it. Just the opportunities available, or that will be available.
The minute it legalizes, Darius is all over it.
Well, it's legal. It's legal to use the cannabis vape in your pen because it's based on the CBDs in the hemp, and the hemp industry is very big.
It's getting really large. Yeah, actually,
it's been legalized in actually a year ago this month. President Obama signed in the Farm Act that made it legal in the United States to produce cannabis for industrial use. And they found that even the Surgeon General, what was his name? I want to say Sear J. I know it starts with an S. But actually, he's the one that convinced President Obama to sign the Farm Bill last year, because cannabis has so many uses, not only as medical uses for seizure disorders, but it used to be in World War II that the uniforms were actually made from the fibers of the hemp plant. And materials are made from hemp, sails from the clipper ships that were actually made from hemp. And so now hemp is being produced as well as for building materials because of green living and insulation. Hemp is being produced. But this company that Christopher Hussey is the CEO of, I cannot call the company, and I still get the.
That's really interesting, though. I have to look more into that when we get when I get more time to actually check that out.
Oh, Dan's here now. While we're wrapping it up, Dan.
But Dan's the man of the hour, though. Hi, Dan.
What do I hear in the background? I hear a lot of noise. Someone's got a TV on or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay. I think, yeah, there was a TV or something going. But definitely, this was a great hangout. I learned a lot.
So did I.
Darius, he gave me some great ideas with guest posting.
We got to hook up with Darius on Facebook.
Definitely going to start to blog. Going to make that a priority, and I'm definitely going to help other people by sharing this out and getting the information to them so they can become more effective and they can really learn about what to do, what not to do, how to do it. And even though I didn't train on some of the platforms I wanted to, I think we got a lot of covered and a lot of great material.
Yeah, we did.
So, yeah, I want to thank my co-host, Chris, Dan, for his awesome, he's a trooper. He showed up at the last minute, and he's going to hang out. Ron, always a pleasure.
Yep.
Francis.
Yep.
Carl Davis, Rick and Cheryl. Always Bill.
Yep, Bill.
Darius, we'd love to have you back,
Mr.
too.
Darius,
Oh, yeah, man.
Darius,
Yeah.
it was a pleasure. I really enjoyed your wisdom. I definitely would like to actually connect with you on Facebook and other social media platforms if you're open to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm down to help as much as possible. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Did you enjoy being here tonight?
What did you say?
Did you enjoy being here tonight, and did you learn something with us this evening?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I just enjoy just talking to those who are similar, man. Just that entrepreneur community is awesome, and what you guys are doing here is, this is, man. I think you guys should keep it up.
Yeah, you were really robotic there for a minute, bud.
Yeah, he's on a phone.
Oh, it's my internet connection is unstable. It might be.
Yeah, mine too. What the heck? That was weird.
Oh, it's the CIA.
CIA. But definitely, I think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
To get this information out there, and we've given a lot to entrepreneurs, and that's really what it's about. It's about giving back and helping other people out. And as Zig Ziglar said, you give enough wisdom out and you help enough people get what they want, and you can get what you want.
Is there gonna be a video of this available?
Yeah,
there
man.
will definitely be. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. We're gonna put an intro and a nice outro. Kind of do it up a little with some recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, Darius. There's a little more. There's more content.
Yeah.
We put it up on our YouTube channel. Get subscribed to us, bro.
Gotcha. Hey, Ron, can you just, when you get a second after this call, do you mind sending me just like the kind of just connecting me with everyone and, just sending over like the YouTube links and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Are you on Facebook?
Of course.
I am.
Okay, well, I have to look each other.
Everybody is, man. That's an entrepreneur. Are you kidding? There isn't a social media platform. Well, some of them.
That was kind of a silly question. It's getting late. What can I say?
We're just pulling your chain. How to do that, Ron?
Yeah, actually, yeah, because I know that we connected on LinkedIn, so
yeah,
absolutely.
All right.
If the latest, probably tomorrow, I'll give you but that'll be the latest there, Darius.
Yeah.
All right, no problem, man. Take your time.
I want to thank all of our guests. We love you all, and we'll see you next week for the Entrepreneur Power Hour. Me and Kareem are going to be just brainstorming a topic, and if you guys on the panel here, anybody watching, you want us to talk about something, give us some suggestions. We're going to give you guys some links to our community. I'm going to do up a poll either tonight or tomorrow about some topics you'd like to see. Go out and vote, and or suggest the topic you'd like us to discuss. This is Chris Peters for the Entrepreneur Power Hour with my co-host Kareem Mays. Keep rocking.
Good night, guys.
Have a good one, night.
Good night.